the very first session of this foundation course. So सगळ्यांचं स्वागत आहे आपलं हे पहिलं सेशन आहे फाउंडेशन कोर्सचं. So before we actually start the discussion, let me introduce myself. आपण हे introduction सुरू करण्यापूर्वी तुम्हाला एकदा माझी ओळख करून देतो. My name is Pravin. I'm the course director of this batch. माझं नाव प्रवीण आहे, मी या कोर्सचा डायरेक्टर आहे. So we are running this course, this particular course since last 15 years. गेल्या 15 वर्षापासून आपण हा कोर्स रन करत आहोत. The academic itself is a 20 years old. This institution has completed 20 years. या institutionचे 20 वर्ष झाले. कोर्स ऑलमोस्ट 15 वर्षापासून आपण रन करतो. Specifically, this course is run during our summer vacations. आपण summer vacations मध्ये हा कोर्स रन करतो. Because once you complete your 10th and 12th standard examination and when you are looking for multiple opportunities there, you should know that this is one such opportunity and you can really think about pursuing this opportunity there. जसं 10वी आणि 12वीच्या परीक्षा जेव्हा होतात आपल्याकडे वेळ पण असतो आणि आपण वेगळे ऑप्शन्स चेकआउट करत असतो. वेगळे ऑप्शन चेकआउट करत असताना आपण काय करायला पाहिजे हे जे सगळं आहे ते आपण कुठल्या निमित्ताने करत असतो. तर हे सगळं आपण त्या कोर्सच्या निमित्ताने करत असतो. Okay, if you're looking forward to be part of civil services, then this is going to be a start. ठीक आहे, आणि याच्यामध्ये तुम्हाला हे पण कळणार आहे की आर यू एबल टू परस्यू दिस, तुम्ही हे करू शकणार आहात का नाही करू शकणार आहात याची पण आपल्याला त्याच्यामध्ये ओळख होणार आहे. The student who were part of this one more course later on they also joined our later courses for their further preparation and they eventually got selected. ते सगळे eventually सगळे नाही झाले पण त्यातले काही लोक सिलेक्ट झाले आपल्याला दिसून येतात. And this is just a foundation course. Now we are going to build the foundation for our preparation. आपलं जे काही प्रिपरेशन त्याचं फाउंडेशन आपण बनवणार आहोत. सो हिअर वी आर गोइंग टू अंडरस्टँड व्हॉट आर सिव्हिल सर्व्हिसेस. आपण हे समजून घेणार आहोत की सिव्हिल सर्व्हिसेस काय असतात ही गोष्ट आपण समजून घ्यावी लागेल. इन ॲडिशन टू दिस वी नीड टू ऑल्सो अंडरस्टँड हाऊ टू प्रिपेअर फॉर दिस सर्व्हिसेस. या सगळ्या सर्व्हिसेससाठी आपण प्रिपरेशन कशी करायला पाहिजे. Now you might be aware that there are more than 10 lakh people they are applying for this examination, but only 1000 people are getting selected. 10 लाख पेक्षा जास्त लोक अप्लाय करतात आणि 1000 लोक सिलेक्ट होतात. मग असं नेमकं त्याच्यामध्ये काय असतं, व्हॉट इज सो स्पेसिफिक सो स्पेशल इन दोज गाईज दॅट आउट ऑफ 10 lakh people these 1000 people are getting selected. असं त्यांच्यामध्ये काय आहे, वी कॅन कॉल इट ॲज अ स्किल सेट. त्यांच्याकडे काय असतात तर ते स्किल्स असतात. सो दिस इज द राईट टाइम टू आयडेंटिफाय वेदर स्किल्स आर इन अस ऑर नॉट. आपल्याला शोधावं लागेल स्किल्स आपल्याला आहेत का नाही नसतील. आय कॅन परफेक्टली अंडरस्टँड दॅट यू मे नॉट बी पोझेशन ऑफ दिस स्किल्स. असं असू शकतं तुमच्याकडे स्किल्स नाहीये. But when we come to know that we are lacking in these skills, it is our duty rather that we shall make efforts towards achieving those skills in due course of a time. आपल्याला जो काही वेळ आहे त्याच्यामध्ये आपण हे स्किल्स आपल्यावर आणायला पाहिजे. अशा अर्थाने we are going to build this foundation. Right. आता if I give example of say reading, are you able to read? तुम्ही वाचू शकता का? तर तुम्ही वाचू शकता. You are able to read. But here we have to read very different. थोडंसं वेगळ्या पद्धतीने आपल्याला वाचावं लागतं. मग ते वेगळ्या पद्धतीने वाचायचं म्हणजे काय करायचं, कसं वाचायचं आपल्याला शिकावं लागेल. मस्ट लर्न दिस हाऊ टू रीड से टेक्स्ट बुक. Okay, before this you may not have started reading newspaper. न्यूजपेपर वाचायला सुरुवात केली नसेल, दिस इज द राईट टाइम यू शुड स्टार्ट रीडिंग न्यूजपेपर. आता आपण न्यूजपेपर वाचायला सुरू करायला पाहिजे. तर ऑटोमॅटिकली द क्वेश्चन विल कम टू युअर माइंड, which newspaper, कुठला newspaper वाचावं पाहिजे. Again the question will be whether shall we read that in English or Hindi or Marathi. तर कुठल्या लँग्वेज मध्ये वाचायला पाहिजे. Again next question will come to your mind, shall we make note of that, आपण त्याची नोट बनवायला पाहिजे का. Okay, and when you start doing notes, making notes, your notes are nothing but copy paste content from say newspaper or textbook. If you are copying the content from textbook or say newspaper, then the textbook or notebook is not going to be different. It is going to be same. The same as असणार. नोट काढायची म्हणजे काय करायचं, सगळ्या गोष्टी आपल्याला शिकाव्या लागतात. ह्या सगळ्या गोष्टी शिकण्याची योग्य वेळ कुठली आहे, तर जेव्हा तुम्ही आता 10वी 12वी कम्प्लीट करताय आणि ग्रॅज्युएशनची इयर मध्ये जात. सो दॅट इज द राईट स्टेज. तर ह्या सगळ्याचं फाउंडेशन आपण बिल्ड करण्याचा इथे प्रयत्न करणार आहोत. सो वी आर गोइंग टू स्टार्ट. आय एम नॉट गोइंग टू से दॅट युअर फाउंडेशन विल बी कम्प्लिटली बिल्ड. असं होणारच नाही तुमचं कम्प्लिटली फाउंडेशन बिल्ड होणार. But we are going to have very good heads up. और त्याच्यामध्ये खूप चांगली सुरुवात करायला करणार. This is the real purpose of this foundation course. फाउंडेशन कोर्स करण्यासाठी एक रिअल पर्पज आहे. लक्षात घ्या. आता बिफोर वी स्टार्ट अगेन फर्दर डिस्कशन, वी नीड टू अंडरस्टँड what are these different civil services. Shall we prepare for the civil services or not? आपण प्रिपेअर करायला पाहिजे का नाही करायला पाहिजे, ही सगळ्यांची स्कीम आपल्याला समजून घ्यावी लागेल. Now basically we'll start with the very basic word called as civil services. What is the word? Civil services. Now what is the word? Civil services, right? Now this
Recording in progress.
anybody would like to come? मराठी आपण त्याला सेवा म्हणतो. काय म्हणतो? सेवा. सर्व्हिस मीन्स वी आर डुईंग समथिंग फॉर अदर्स. आपण दुसऱ्यासाठी करतो. कोणासाठी करतो? दुसऱ्यासाठी करतो. When we are serving others, we are also serving ourselves. म्हणजे दुसऱ्याला सर्व करतो, आपण स्वतःला पण काय करतो? सर्व करतो. Okay, now which are the professions which are called as services? कुठले प्रोफेशन्स आहे ज्याला सर्व्हिसेस म्हटलं जातं? The most very common example is medical profession. So doctors are providing service. Doctors काय देतात? Service. Are they doing that for themselves or for us? For us. Right? Metro is being applied in Pune. पुण्यातली मेट्रो आहे. What is metro? Metro is offering us service. CA, chartered accountant, they are offering us service. Restaurant, the restaurant owner, for whom that restaurant is run? For the customers, not for the owner himself, for herself, right? So what are they offering? They are offering service. What I'm doing right now, I'm also offering my service to you. मी माझी सुद्धा सर्व्हिस तुम्हाला ऑफर करतो, because I already know what is civil services, what is civil service, and everything I know about civil services, right? But I'm transferring this information to you people. It means I'm also offering you a service. मी पण काय ऑफर करतोय? सर्व्हिस ऑफर. लक्षात घ्या. त्याला काय म्हटलं जातं? सर्व्हिस. ओके, अँड दिस इज व्हेरी ब्रॉड फील्ड. हे खूप मोठं फील्ड आहे. When politicians also call that they are also offering their services to the people. Now, are they offering for the people or for themselves? That is again a different matter of discussion. पण ते सुद्धा काय म्हणतात की आम्ही तुम्हाला काय ऑफर करतोय? सर्व्हिस ऑफर. लक्षात घ्या. त्याला काय म्हटलं जातं? सर्व्हिस म्हटलं जातं. मग अगेन there is word called as civil. Then there is word called as civil. Okay. Now, have you heard this word civil hospital? शब्द आहे क्या civil hospital? शब्द आहे क्या civil lines? Have you heard this word civil lines? Okay. Now, what is mean civil lines? Civil hospital. Again, this is for people. This is for people. ते कोणासाठी आहे? लोकांसाठी. कोणासाठी आहे? लोकांसाठी. Civil hospital is for people. Right? Now, civil lines. Now, this was the terminology used during British era. If you go to Nagpur, you will find there is a civil line. Everywhere where British leave, there is a thing called as civil line. Why? Why is it so? Why is it so? Because in civil lines, the officer used to reside who were offering their services to people. Right? So the services which are offered to the people are commonly called as civil services. ह्या ज्या सर्व्हिसेस आहेत त्या लोकांसाठी ऑफर केले जातात. सो इफ यू आर गव्हर्नमेंट ऑफिसर वर्किंग इन गव्हर्नमेंट हॉस्पिटल, आर यू अ सिव्हिल सर्वंट? येस, यू आर ऑल्सो अ सिव्हिल सर्वंट बिकॉज यू आर इन अदर वे ऑफरिंग सर्व्हिसेस टू द पीपल. तुम्ही सर्व्हिस लोकांना देतच आहात ना. ओके, सो इन एव्हरी गव्हर्नमेंट ऑफिस देर आर पीपल वर्किंग. दे आर पार्ट ऑफ दिस लार्जर डोमेन ऑफ सिव्हिल सर्व्हिसेस. हे सगळं लार्जर डोमेन मध्ये ते करतात आपल्याला दिसतं. Now they are representing government. ते कोणाला रिप्रेझेंट करत आहेत? They are representing government. Right? And this government is working for us. ते आपल्यासाठी काम करतात. Now here I should tell you, there is a word called as welfare state or welfare government. Now what is the word? Welfare state or welfare government. वेलफेयर का मतलब क्या होता है? कल्याण. किसका कल्याण? लोगों का कल्याण. I mean, what ways से लोगों का कल्याण किया जाता है? There are multiple ways of doing kalyan of people. Okay, now PMPL buses are running on road. Okay, if you don't have your own vehicle, तुमची स्वतःची गाडी नाही, you can aboard the bus. You bus घेऊ शकते की नाही? लक्षात घ्या. This is for what? Welfare. Now let me give you example. If you want to travel from Pune to Mumbai, मला पुण्यावरून मुंबईला जायचं. Okay, now if you travel by train, you know how much is the fare from Pune to Mumbai? It's 110 rupees. That is the minimum fare for express train. 110 रुपये तुम्हाला तिकीट टाकावं लागतं. If you go by road, bus or your car, if you take AC bus from Pune to Mumbai, it costs you around 600 rupees. 600 रुपयाला ते cost पडतं. If you take your car, then maybe you have to refill your petrol or diesel tank with at least 1000 rupees or 1500 rupees. And in addition to that, you may have to pay more than 600 rupees as a toll. 600 रुपयापेक्षा जास्त तुम्हाला टोलच भरावा. लक्षात घ्या. Now, what is the easiest and cheapest way to get into Mumbai? Of course, it is train. And how much train is charging you? 110 rupees. Right? And तुम्ही कुठल्या मोडनी मुंबई लवकर पोहोचू शकता की that is the train. Right? Because that is not stopping as per your convenience. ठीक आहे. याचा जर आपण विचार केला तर ट्रेन इज ऑफरिंग अस वेलफेअर सर्व्हिस. ट्रेन आपल्याला काय ऑफर करते? वेलफेअर सर्व्हिस ऑफर करते. If you next time when you purchase railway ticket now, just look at the back side of that ticket. There's a back side of the ticket. This is really असं म्हणतोय. We are not recovering full amount which we are spending for the passenger traffic. म्हणजे समजा तुम्हाला पुण्यावरून मुंबईला घेऊन जायचं तर तुम्हाला जेवढा खर्च रेल्वेला येतो तुम्हाला घेऊन जाण्यासाठी तेवढे पैसे आपण रेल्वेला देतच नाही. We are not paying that much amount to railway. We are paying around 55 to 60% to railway. It means the 40% cost of our travel is borne by railway. म्हणजे आपला 40% खर्च कोण बॉर्न करते? रेल्वे बोर्ड. लक्षात घ्या. का? बिकॉज दे आर डुइंग इट फॉर द वेलफेअर ऑफ. तुमच्याकडे गाडी असेल, माझ्याकडे गाडी असेल, सगळ्या लोकांकडे गाडी असेल असं नाही. यू और आय मे हॅव अ कार. नॉट ऑल पीपल हॅव अ कार. आणि सगळ्या एवढ्या कार असतात ते आल्या काय होईल असतात मुंबई ते पुणे एक अख्खी लाईन लागून मग काही ते करायला पाहिजे. सो दॅट इज डन बाय होम? वेलफेअर. ओके, तुम्हाला माहिती का यू ऑल आर बेनिफिशियरी ऑफ दोन जिंदगी. तुम्हाला सगळ्यांना दोन जिंदगीचे दिले. तुम्हाला आठवत नसते पण दिले गेले. यू गॉन आस्क युअर फॅमिली मला पोलिओ डोस दिलाय का नाही? Now that polio dose was given free of cost. Free of cost. Because government wanted it to be without polio. गव्हर्नमेंटला असं वाटत होतं की भारतात जन्मणाऱ्या प्रत्येक चाइल्ड कसा असला पाहिजे? विदाउट पोलिओ असायला पाहिजे. सो दॅट वॅक्सिन वॉज गिवन टू अस फ्री ऑफ कॉस्ट. ते आपल्याला कशी दिली गेली? फ्री ऑफ कॉस्ट दिली गेली. दॅट वॉज गिवन टू बाय गव्हर्नमेंट ऍट नो कॉस्ट. राईट. याचा अर्थ गव्हर्नमेंट आपल्या कशासाठी काम करत आहे? इट इज वर्किंग फॉर द वेलफेअर ऑफ. इफ आय स्टार्ट गिविंग यू एक्झाम्पल्स ऑफ वेलफेअर then entire 2 hours or more than 2 hours will be त्याच्यापेक्षा जास्त वेळ आपल्याला लावू शकतो. Okay. You might be beneficiary of scholarships in your schools and colleges. Right. Now suppose you studied in private schools. Right now, any private school is charging anything between say 70,000, 80,000, 1 lakh rupees. And what government schools are charging? Few hundred rupees. Few hundred rupees. And if the child is between age 6 to 14, under right to education, the education is free and compulsory. Education is free and compulsory. If you don't want to pay a single rupee for your education expenses, then always enroll yourself into a government school. I'm not saying college. शाळेत शाळेमध्ये गेलं की 6 ते 14 वर्ष वय असेल तर तुम्हाला 1 रुपये फी भरण्याची गरज नाही. Why? Because we have a right to education. Right? This is all done for what? For why? For what reasons? Again, that is done for the welfare. Who is doing that welfare? Government. किसका welfare है? लोगों का welfare हो. We the people of India. किसका welfare हो रहा है? We the people of India. भारत के लोगों का welfare हो रहा है. कौन कर रहा है? गवर्नमेंट. ठीक है. If the government is doing welfare of people of India, these are two distinct poles. हे सगळे दोन distinct pole आहे. There should be some connection ना. त्याच्यामध्ये काही कनेक्शन असायला Fine. What is that connection? That connection is nothing but civil service. The connection को plan civil service से connection है. Okay. Do you remember COVID वाला time? आपने 5वीं 6वीं वगैरह कहते हैं ऐसा. COVID वाला time. Okay. Almost 6 years ago, the same month we were during lockdown. We were in lockdown. So lockdown मध्ये होतो. The first phase of lockdown was completely done. 21 दिवस होतो सुरुवातीला लॉकडाऊन. हे आता संपलं होतं आणि पुढचं लॉकडाऊन लागू झालं. Do you know sanitizers? Are you using sanitizers to clean your hands when the water is not available? You know what happened before COVID? No, only handful of people in India they were using sanitizers. There is a rule of market. जितनी डिमांड होगी उतना सप्लाई होगा. सो वहां पे ज्यादातर लोग यूज ही नहीं करते थे. So उसका सप्लाई बहुत थोड़ा. ड्यूरिंग कोविड गवर्नमेंट ने बोला यू हैव टू फॉलो CAV. गवर्नमेंट क्या बोला कि आपको क्या करना है? CAV फॉलो करना. CAV का मतलब कोविड एप्रोप्रिएट बिहेवियर. मतलब मास्क लगा, सेफ डिस्टेंस रखो और हाथ धोते जाओ. इफ देयर इज नो वाटर, सपोज यू आर ट्रैवलिंग, तो हाथ को कैसे धोएगा? इसलिए उन्होंने बोला कि सैनिटाइजर इस्तेमाल कर. त्याच्या आधी मार्केटमध्ये सगळे सॅनिटायझर संपले. All sanitizers in market were sold because whatever, when people realize something serious is coming, they went and instead of buying 1 or 2 sanitizers, they bought bunch of sanitizers for themselves. झाला प्रॉब्लेम. मग त्याच्यानंतर असं झालं की when we were opening slowly, the offices started opening, banks started opening, when schools and colleges were started opening. हे सगळं जेव्हा सुरू झालं त्याला गव्हर्नमेंटने सांगितलं की प्रत्येक एस्टॅब्लिशमेंटच्या बाहेर सॅनिटायझर ठेवायला पाहिजे. सो हियर वी ऑल्सो पुट अ सॅनिटायझर. हमने वहां पे सॅनिटायझर रखा. देयर इज टू बी स्टैंड, यू जस्ट प्रेस द पेडल, द सॅनिटायझर विल कम यू इन योर हैंड, देन यू एंटर इनटू द प्रीमाइसेस. दैट वाज द प्रैक्टिस. ठीक है. जहां ये सारे सैनिटाइजर संपले, वन गवर्नमेंट ऑफिसर उसने अपना दिमाग लगाया कि तो कैसे कर सकते हैं हम सैनिटाइजर को इजीली अवेलेबल. So the basic component of any sanitizer is alcohol. उसमें alcohol, not पीने वाला. ठीक है. Raw material which is produced in sugarcane factory and all that. So he knew that we can produce sanitizer with the help of that molasses. So he wrote a letter to government and said this is how we can produce sanitizers at very low rate and in large quantity because the alcohol is already available to all sugar factories. So government understood idea. सरकारच्या लक्षात आली आयडिया आपण काय करायला पाहिजे. सो गव्हर्नमेंटने सगळ्या साखर कारखान्यांना सांगितलं यू कॅन मॅन्युफॅक्चर सॅनिटायझर. तुम्ही काय मॅन्युफॅक्चर करू शकता? सॅनिटायझर मॅन्युफॅक्चर करू शकता. देअर आफ्टर द शुगर फॅक्टरी दे स्टार्टेड मॅन्युफॅक्चरिंग सॅनिटायझर्स. ऍज अ रिझल्ट इन मार्केट लार्ज सप्लाय ऑफ सॅनिटायझर आहे. खूप मोठा सप्लाय मार्केटमध्ये झाला सॅनिटायझरचा. आणि जेव्हा तुम्हाला माहिती अगेन देयर इज अ रूल and supply is more, the cost goes down. And sanitizer became too affordable for everyone. सगळ्यांना ते काय झालं? खूप affordable झालं. So every establishment like us, they used to buy sanitizers in a can of say 5 liters, 10 liters. That are very minimal. Okay. Who gave that idea? That idea was given by a civil servant. ती idea कोण दिली? एका civil servant. लक्षात घ्या. During COVID, government also said to the people that we cannot move from a place to another place. एका ठिकाणी दुसऱ्या ठिकाणी जायचं. ठीक आहे. आणि the government prohibited entry of people from one district to other. एका जिल्ह्यात दुसऱ्या जिल्ह्यात जायचं नाही. But after all, it was very difficult to keep people in a district. एका जिल्ह्यामध्ये ठेवणं फार अवघड होतं because people were stuck. मग ते म्हणले की if you want to travel from one place to other, you will need a pass. तुम्हाला काय लागेल? Pass लागेल. So they designed a website, not website actually, portal design केलं. आणि गव्हर्नमेंट अनाउन्स that if you want to travel from say पुणे to कोल्हापूर, मला पुण्याला कोल्हापूर जायचं, पुण्याला मुंबईला, मी काय काळजी apply on that portal, will approve your pass. You take the printout of that pass. Okay, and while moving from a district to another district, you can simply show that pass. You will be allowed to enter into the district. तुम्हाला त्या district मध्ये टाइप करायचं प्रवेश दिला. ठीक आहे. सो पीपल स्टार्टेड अप्लाइंग ऑन पोर्टल्स. लोकांनी पोर्टलवरती अप्लाय करायला सुरुवात केली. आणि याचा फायदा असा झाला की लोक एका जिल्ह्यात दुसऱ्या ठिकाणी जायलाच लागतात. एनिवे पीपल वर गोइंग टू बुक, लोक जाणारच होते. But with the help of that, government could collect the data. How will people travel from a place to another place? Because कोविड मध्ये आहे ना, त्या कोविड वरती औषध उपचार होतं. मग कोविडला कसं ट्रीट केलं गेलं? तर म्हणले की ट्रेस ट्रेस आणि ट्रेस. मला झाला तर मी हिच्या संपर्कात आलो, हिला झाला तर तिच्या संपर्कात आला, तो त्याच्या आला, तो त्याच्या आला, असं कोणाला ट्रेस करत जायचं, शेवटच्या व्यक्तीपर्यंत ट्रेस करत जायचं. अँड दॅट वॉज द ओनली थिंग टू कीप इट अवे फ्रॉम सर्टन. मग ते तुम्हाला कसं कळेल कुठला माणूस कुठं गेलाय? विथ हेल्प ऑफ पास दॅट वॉज पॉसिबल टू ट्रॅक द पीपल. त्या पासाच्या मदतीने शक्य झाले की आपण काय करू शकतो, त्यांना ट्रॅक करू शकतो. लक्षात घ्या, दॅट आयडिया वॉज गिव्हन बाय वन IPS. The idea can be the IPS officer. Even these officers, when they apply a very small idea, that serves very large number of people at minimal cost. कमीत कमी पैशावर लोकांना सुविधा उपलब्ध होऊन जाते. So at one hand there is a government, at other hand there are people of India. Who is connecting these two entities? The civil services. Civil services connecting these two important people. So when you are planning to be part of civil services, you are going to connect government and with the people of India. ठीक आहे. आणि ह्याने तुम्हाला काय मिळेल? What will you gain out of this? तुम्हाला काय मिळेल? ऑफकोर्स फॉर दिस वर्क यू विल गेट सॅलरी. कामाची तुम्हाला काय म्हणणार? सॅलरी मिळणार. मग तुम्ही असं म्हणा की सॅलरी तर कुठल्या पण कामाची मिळते ना. यू आर राईट, यू गेट सॅलरी ऑफ एनी वर्क. प्रायव्हेट मध्ये गेला तुम्हाला सॅलरी मिळेल, नो डाऊट. लक्षात, प्रायव्हेट मध्ये गेल्यानंतर मला सॅलरी मिळणार. But in addition to the salary, when you are working in government, you also get a respect and prestige. मला काय मिळते? रिस्पेक्ट पण मिळतो आणि प्रेस्टीज पण मिळतो. Does it mean the prestige is not in any private job? तिथं पण आहे. There is a difference in its degree. Okay, degree मधला फरक. Okay, you assume yourself, you are wearing a uniform, you are IPS officer, and you are coming to any program. Don't you think people will look to you? तुझ्याकडे बघणार नाही तुम्ही? Of course बघतात. Because that is your identity. That is your identity. When you are not wearing uniform, people may not look at you. But when you are wearing uniform, people will definitely look at you. So it brings respect. It brings prestige. And this is the place, this is the thing, with help of which you can change the lives of so many people. तुम्ही खूप साऱ्या लोकांचा विषय बदलू शकता. Because you have very different perspective of looking at a thing. एखाद्या गोष्टीकडे बघण्याचा तुमचा खूप वेगळा पर्स्पेक्टिव्ह केसमध्ये असू शकतो. आणि त्याचा तुम्हाला फायदा होणार का नाही होणार? डेफिनेटली तुम्हाला त्याचा फायदा डेफिनेटली बेनिफिटेड बाय. म्हणजे there is of course different reasons for everyone why they want to prepare for civil services. त्यांना सिव्हिल सर्व्हिसेसला प्रिपेअर करण्याचे खूप सारे ऑप्शन त्या केसमध्ये असू शकतात किंवा त्याची कारणं पण वेगवेगळी असू शकतात. तुम्हाला शोधावं लागेल. You need to find out what is your own reason you wanted to prepare for these civil services. तो फरक त्याच्यामध्ये तुम्हाला दिसतो. So in short, civil services काय आहेत? These are connecting government and with the people of India. For what purpose? For the purpose of welfare. मतलब किसका welfare? हमारा. When we are doing that in the capacity of civil servant, we are also doing our very own welfare. आपण स्वतःच मध्ये काय करतो? Welfare. You got it? मला काय म्हटलेलं आहे? सिव्हिल सर्व्हिसेस असं म्हटलं आहे. नाव ह्याच्या सिव्हिल सर्व्हिसेस आहे. हे सिव्हिल सर्व्हिसेस जस्ट फॉर द रेफरन्स पर्पज, मी आता फक्त त्याचा रेफरन्स घ्यायचा म्हणून तुम्हाला असं सांगतो की देर आर सिव्हिल सर्व्हिसेस ऑफ युनियन, देर आर सिव्हिल सर्व्हिसेस ऑफ स्टेट. युनियनच्या पण सिव्हिल सर्व्हिसेस आहेत आणि स्टेटच्या पण सिव्हिल सर्व्हिसेस आहेत. फॉर एक्झाम्पल स्टेट सर्व्हिसेस ऑफ MPS, स्टेट सर्व्हिसेस ऑफ महाराष्ट्राच्या आहेत. तिकडे कोणाच्या आहेत? युनियन, म्हणजे आपलं दिल्लीवाले गव्हर्नमेंट आहे त्यांच्या. So what arrangement have been made here in our constitution for the civil services of state? To recruit people in civil services of state, they have provided a body called as State Public Service Commission. कुठली बॉडी त्याच्यामध्ये सांगितलेलं आहे? State Public Service Commission. That is nothing but MPSC. ती कुठली आहे? MPSC. महाराष्ट्रामध्ये कुठली आहे? LPS, Maharashtra Public Service Commission. But in union it is UPS. ती कुठली आहे? UPSC आहे. Union Public Service Commission. So, for the civil services of Union, the recruiting agency is UPSC, and for the civil services of state recruiting agencies, MSS. Today we are going to talk only about UPSC. आपण फक्त UPSC बद्दल बोलणार आहोत. Some other day I will also tell you about the MPSC. इतर दिवशी तुम्हाला मी MPSC बद्दल बोलतो. Now when it comes to UPSC, you know what is the basic function of UPSC? Basic function of UPSC काय आहे? एकच आहे. To recruit civil servant. To recruit civil servant. त्याचं एकच काम आहे की सिव्हिल सर्वंटला काय करायचंय? रिक्रूट करायचं. हाऊ? ऑफकोर्स थ्रू एक्झामिनेशन. कसं करायचं आहे? एक्झामिनेशन करायचं. आता एक्झामिनेशन काय घ्यायचं मला सांगा. व्हॉट वुड बी द रीजन दॅट दे वांट टू कंडक्ट एन एक्झामिनेशन? Okay, skills and syllabus, right?
Qualified person.
Okay, we need to select only qualified persons. Absolutely right. अजून काय कारण असू शकेल? What would be the reason? Politics. Okay, politics. Okay. Capability. Right, capability. Knowledge. Very good. Okay, there must be some leadership skill. Of course, there should be personality, right? Good. किती बड़ी आबादी है हमारी, किती लोकसंख्या आपल्याकडे. ह्या लोकसंख्येत हे लोक शोधावे लागतील ना. We need to find out these people from the very large population of India. म्हणून examination. All are your answers are correct, but the very basic start from very large population of India. How to identify whether people are having leadership skills or not? How to identify whether people are capable or not? How to identify whether people are skillful or not? That is the help of an examination. ते कशाच्या माध्यमातून केले जातात? Examinations माध्यमातून केले जातात. So throughout year, UPSC conducts so many examinations. UPSC काय करते माहिती का? खूप सारे examination conduct करते. Right now, they are only interested in one examination. आपण एकाच examination interested. What is that examination? That examination is civil services examination. ती कुठली आहे? Civil services examination आहे. That is the only examination in which we are interested. Does it mean we are not interested in other examinations? It depends. It depends. Okay, for example, if you are a doctor, you are a doctor, right? Then UPSC conduct examination called as Combined Medical Services. Okay? Combined Medical Services. Now is परीक्षा conducted. किती परीक्षा देऊ शकतो? Suppose you are economist. You have studied economics and statistics. They are conducting one more examination called as examination for Indian Economic Services. That's right. Indian Economic Services. Okay. In addition to this, they are conducting so many other direct recruitments. खूप सारे डायरेक्ट रिक्रुटमेंट पण करत असतात. ठीक आहे. सो वर्षभर UPSC फक्त एकच काम करते. इट कंडक्ट्स ओनली examinations. But the examination in which we are interested is only one examination. That is nothing but civil services examination. Now, why are we interested only this examination? Our has examination very interested are. So there are 3-4 important reasons we are only interested in this examination. The very first examination is the very first reason is in civil service examination anybody can enter. Anybody can approach. Suppose you are graduates in humanity, you can write that examination. You are an engineer, you can write that examination. You are a doctor, you can write that examination. Any graduate can write this examination. What is the case with other examinations? The other examination has to be written by a graduate of a specific discipline. For example, combined medical services. Right? If you are not a doctor, can you write this examination? No, you cannot write this examination. If you have well studied economics, can you write this examination? No. It means for most of the examinations, other than CSE, a specific graduation is required. Okay. Just let's take an example. You are a doctor. Can you write combined medical services? Yes. Can you write civil service examination? Yes. Right? But if you are not a doctor, can you write CSE, Civil Service Examination? Yes. But can you write this? No. मला सांग गर्दी कुठे असणार आहे वेर वी आर गोइंग टू फाइंड द क्राउड ऑफ कोर्स इन सीएसटी कारण हे पहिलं रिझन द सेकंड इम्पॉर्टंट रिझन इज there is only one examination but through that examination we are recruiting officers for 24 different services 24 different services the list is given in that document. There is one examination on the very first second page. Can you see that? So you appear that one examination, right? And how many services are there? 24 services are there, right? In other examinations, in case of other examination, one exam, one service. But here, one exam, close to 20 to 24 different types of services. Right? This is the second reason. मतलब उसका क्या समझ गया? You write one examination and you get into service of your choice. That's all. This is only possible in CSE. What is possible? CSE is possible. This is the second reason. Okay. What is the third reason? It is about presence. It is about the visibility. Okay. We know there are IAS people, there are IPS people. Have you ever come across with someone who is combined medical service? IAS. I'm not saying their role is not important. Their role is important in their domain. अगर हम civil services की बात करें, can you name few IAS officers, even though you don't have personal relationship with them or you personally don't know them, but still you know the names? Would you like to give some names of IAS, IPS? Whatever you have heard so far. Manoj Sharma, welfare वाले अपने. Tukaram Mandal. Okay. Amol Edigan. Right. Rahul Rekhawan. Kiran Bedi. Ansar Sheikh. Any idea? Okay. Last? No idea. अरे तुम्ही मला नाव सांगितलं. Second out of my But if I ask you, name any officers who are very well known out of remaining services, can you? No, even I am also not in position to tell their names. Though I know these people personally. But the popularity of these people is not matching the popularity of those people. त्यांची पॉप्युलरिटी तर मॅच नाही होऊ शकत. यू हर्ड नेम ऑफ भरत आंधळे और विश्वास आंधळे पाटील ऐकलं ना? Why these people are popular? They are popular because of this. One examination, 24 different studies. And there is one more thing. If you get into these services now, you will reach to the top of that service eventually. To the top of the service post now. Do you know who is the Director General of Police in state of Maharashtra right now? DG उनको बोलते हैं. उसका साधारण दादे is the DGP of Maharashtra, Director General of Police. So Director General of Police is the officer heading the entire police force of a state. The entire police force का क्या करता है? Head करता है. Okay. There is a position called as Chief Secretary. What is the position? Chief Secretary. Generally, the Chief Secretary is the only officer heading the entire bureaucracy of a state. Right? So, when you get into any of the state, any of the services mentioned here, eventually you'll be reaching the top of that service. And that will be your personal achievement also. तुमची personal achievement पण असते. लक्षात येते? And this is the reason this CSE is so popular that more than 10-50 lakh people apply for this exam. म्हणून एवढे सगळे लोक त्याला काय करतात अप्लाय करतात. Yes. Okay. So in UPSC we are only going to focus on what? We are only going to focus on CSE. As far as remaining services are concerned, those are equally good. But we will take this discussion sometime later. discussion. Now let's focus on CPS. आपण कशावर focus करूया? CSC वरती focus करूया. Now this is the civil services examination. कुठली examination आहे? Civil services examination. Right? Now we have also provided you what are the eligibility criteria. Page number 3 you can see what are the eligibility criteria. What is the very first eligibility criteria? The candidate should be citizen of India. That is going to be everywhere. Even when you are going to apply for the election, the candidate has to be citizen of, right? Then there comes the criteria of age. कौन सा वाला criteria है? Age वाला criteria उसमें आता है. The candidate should have completed 21 years of age. 21 वर्ष आसपास का, right? Then there comes educational qualification. कम से कम क्या education होना चाहिए? Graduation होना चाहिए. We have taken into the graduation. मी आता ग्रॅज्युएशन झाला ना, आपल्याला काय काळजी घ्यायची? योग्य ते ग्रॅज्युएशन निवडायचं आणि योग्य ते प्लॅनिंग करायचं. यू हॅव टू प्लॅन इट व्हेरी वेल अकॉर्डिंग टू युअर गोइंग टू प्लॅन इट, राईट? क्वालिफिकेशन त्याच्यामध्ये आय शुड टेल यू देयर इज वन मोर ब्युटी ऑफ दिस एक्झामिनेशन. कोण माहिती का, when you apply for the prelims of UPSC you have to pay 100 rupees. किती फी भरायला लागते? 100. There is no examination in India whose fee is 100 rupees except this examination. भारतात त्याची कुठलीच परीक्षा नाही ज्याची फी कमी फी नाही. And if candidate is a women candidate, you don't have to pay a single rupee. तुला 1 रुपया फी भरण्याची गरज नाही. And if candidate belong to SC ST, the candidate don't have to pay a single rupee for the preliminary examination. When you pass the preliminary examination, you have to submit an application for mains examination. We have to pay पूरे 200 रुपए. कितने? पूरे 200 रुपए. Again for the women SC ST there is no fee. Fee पण भरायची. And when you pass many examination, they are calling you for the interview. The UPSC pays you 900 rupees when you are traveling from Pune to Delhi. क्यों? That is your rail fare. तुमचा रेल्वेचा फेअर तुम्हाला ते 450 आने का 450 जाने. तुम्ही प्लेननी जरी गेलात तरी तुम्हाला 900 रुपये मिळेल. Because that is the standard. If you go from Pune, right? म्हणजे अशी कुठली परीक्षा मला तुम्ही सांगा भारतात की तुमच्याकडे प्रिलिम्सला फी घेत नाही किंवा खूप कमी फी घेते. इट इज आयदर नॉट चार्जिंग इफ यू आर चार्जिंग व्हेरी मिनिमल फी. सेम फॉर द मेन एक्झामिनेशन. And when you reach to the final stage of interview, they are paying your travel expenses. There is no examination in India, which does so. अशी कुठलीच एक्झामिनेशन जी असं करा तुमच्या लक्षात येते का? मग त्याची पॉप्युलरिटी किती असेल तुम्ही त्याच्यापेक्षा घेऊ शकता. तर ते सगळे एलिजिबिलिटी क्रायटेरिया त्याच्यामध्ये येईल. And of course you are going to become eligible one day. तुम्ही eligible होणारच आहात one day. Okay, now I know you are citizen of India. I can see that from your face. ठीक आहे. You will be completing 21 years of age one day. कधी ना कधी तुम्ही करणारच आहात 21 years of age complete. करणार आहे ना? कोण थांबणार आहे? वय वाढू द्यायचं नसं काय होणार आहे? नाही होणार. Right? You are going to complete your graduation. So you are going to be eligible candidate for this examination of one. कधी ना कधी तुम्ही एलिजिबल होणारच. ओनली थिंग यू विल हॅव टू बिगिन व्हेरी राईट. आपल्याला सुरुवात कशी करायची? खूप चांगली करायची आहे. So again coming back to this civil service examination, now just I give you the idea of eligibility conditions. Okay. Now this CSE is conducting recruitment for 24 different services mentioned. Yeah, I'll briefly give the overview. I'll briefly give my overview later. I can categorize these services into three types. Three types of category solution. The first category is called as All India Service. Second category is Group A Service, and this is Group B Service. All India Service, Group A and Group B. Again, the All India services are IAS, IPS. So there's one more called as Indian Forest Services, IFRS. ठीक है? क्या है? आता मी मनोज शर्माचं नाव सांगतो. का मनोज शर्मावरती पिक्चर आला? Why the movie was produced from Manoj Sharma? Because he was an IT service. Have you watched Raid movie? Raid. 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 Who was the actor? Ajay Devgan. Ajay Devgan is my actor, है ना? A great movie that is based on an IRS officer. कोणावर ती based आहे तो? IRS officer वर based. Spy movies मध्ये बघतो ना तुम्ही? वेगळ्या याच्यामध्ये. The Family Man for example. हे सगळे ऑल इंडिया सर्व्हिस मध्ये ऑफिसर्स आहेत. So these are all India services, IAS, IPS and Indian Forest. There are some Group A services. Group A services आहेत. There are two Indian Revenue Services, income tax, customs and all that. Then there are some accounting services like Indian Account, Audit and Account Service, Indian Defense Account Service. There are four services of railways. Indian Railway Management Service, Traffic, Personal, Account and Railway Protection Force. अशा खूप साऱ्या कुठल्या सर्व्हिसेस आहेत? ग्रुप ए सर्व्हिसेस आहेत. There are four Group B services also. We are calling it as a DANIPS. Delhi Andaman Nicobar Civil Service, Delhi Andaman Nicobar Police Service, Pondicherry Civil Service, Pondicherry Police Service, Pondicherry Civil Service, Pondicherry Police Service. Right? There's one more called as Armed Forces Headquarters Services, AFHP. Armed Forces Headquarters Service. Keeper service त्याच्यावर आपल्याला this. So the services recruited to CS can be classified into three different types. First one is All India Service. Second one is Group A. Third one is Group B. अशा तीन याच्यामध्ये सर्व्हिसेस आपल्याला दिसते. ऑल इंडिया सर्व्हिसेस, ग्रुप ए आणि ग्रुप असं क्लासिफिकेशन आपण करू शकतो. आता मोस्ट ऑफ द पीपल दे वुड लाईक टू ऑप्ट फॉर ऑल इंडिया सर्व्हिसेस. बऱ्याच जणांना ऑल इंडिया सर्व्हिस हवी असते. And they don't get that, they are sent into group A. In both the cases, you are serving the people of India. We the people of India. त्यालाच आपण सर्व करतो. कामामध्ये फरक आहे. कामामध्ये फरक आहे. And every work is important. असं आपण म्हणत नाही की no work is important, this work is less important than others. I'm not saying this. मला असं म्हणायचं नाही. As far as work is concerned, we have to understand this. ठीक आहे. आता यातल्या ऑल इंडिया सर्व्हिसेस IAS आणि IPS त्या खूप जुन्या आहेत. These are very important functionaries in a district. त्या जिल्ह्यातले फार इम्पॉर्टंट फंक्शनरी असतात. आणि त्यांना एवढं काम करावं लागतं. So they are also given some more facilities and privileges. And the facilities and privileges असतात. If you take around around in a city, you'll always find there is a residence of collector, there is a residence of some SP or commissioner. मला याची घरं मिळतात. You may not find the residences of some other services. पण ह्याची मिळेल. का मिळतात? Because these are very old services. खूप आधीपासून आहे. या सर्व्हिसेस अशा आहेत खूप आधीपासूनच. These services are in existence since long time. खूप आधीपासून ते सर्व्हिसेस एक्झिस्टन्स मध्ये आहे. These services have been backbone of entire India's bureaucracy since long time. खूप आधीपासून त्या खूप त्याचं backbone आहे त्या. And if I tell you, the very office of collector was established in 1772. When? 1772. So it has completed more than 250 years of its existence because that is the oldest office in India. Yes, sir. Boys किती झालेले more than 250 years. So can you imagine 250 years वाला institution कितना होगा कैसे होगा? So when you get into IAS, you are going to become a part of that legacy of more than 250. हेच बाकीच्या सगळ्या सर्व्हिसेस लागू होतो. का आता फॉर एक्झाम्पल आय शुड टेल यू अबाउट द रेल्वे सर्व्हिसेस. रेल्वेज रेल्वेने 4 सर्व्हिसेस मी मेन्शन केले. इंडियन रेल्वे मॅनेजमेंट सर्व्हिस, ट्रॅफिक, इंडियन रेल्वे मॅनेजमेंट सर्व्हिस, पर्सनल, अकाउंट्स अँड रेल्वे प्रोटेक्शन फोर्स फॉर सर्व्हिस. Railway is a lifeline of India. Wherever you want to go, you can go through railways. Who is running that railway? The railway run the first thing. These people are running that railway. Run करना काम कौन करता है? Summer seasons have started. Okay, people have started moving from one place to other place for their holidays. Railways are in rush. Railway में rush आ रहा. Okay, when you go for the ticket, can you get the ticket easily? तुम्हारी easily ticket मिलता है. Ticket मिलता है, but that seat is not confirmed. Seat confirmed. That's why because there is so rush. If you become part of these services, you know what will happen? You will always get a confusion. Irrespective of rush. Rush hasil किंवा जसं तुम्हाला मिळालं you are going to get it because you are part of that entire service. There are few defense services also. Indian Defense Account Service as I mentioned here. तुम्हाला डिफेन्स मध्ये सर्व करायचं सिविल कैपेसिटी. दिस इज द सर्विस. ओके यूनिफॉर्म पहन के वहां पे बॉर्डर पे खड़ा नहीं हो सकते, फाइन, बट यू कैन बी स्टिल पार्ट ऑफ इंडियन डिफेंस अकाउंट सर्विस. So these services are offering you very large options to serve our people of India along with a decent salary and certain privileges. Now, एक certain salary पण मिळणार आहे, privileges पण मिळणार आहे. It depends on your merit and choice. Which services you are going to get it. तुम्हाला कुठली सर्व्हिस मिळणार हे कशावरती ठरतं? तुमच्या मेरिटवरती पण ठरतं प्लस तुमच्या चॉईसवरती पण. लक्षात घ्या. सपोज what is the most trend? More than 90% people they opt IAS as a first choice. त्यांना IAS पहिला choice हवा असतो. Few people also opt for Indian police service and a few people also opt for Indian foreign service. इसको Indian foreign service. These people are representing India abroad. You must have heard of embassy consulates. The people working in IFS they are there. ये लोग कितना है? In which service? Indian foreign service. तुमचा choice. Now there are few people. They also opt for Indian foreign service as the first choice. And पहिला choice कुठला घ्यायचा? Indian foreign service घ्यायचा. Why? Because they get a chance to visit multiple countries at the cost of government. Government पाठवतो ना, आता चायनाला जा, आता तुम्ही जपानला जा. ओके. समजा तुम्ही आता पण चायना जपानला जाऊ शकता. राईट नाउ ऑल्सो यू कॅन गो टू चायना और जापान. But for how many days? Not more than 8 to 10 days. Because that is the only travel package we get and we offer. लक्षात घ्या. When you become part of Indian foreign service, you will be staying in Japan say for 3 years. Japan मध्ये 3 वर्ष राहू शकता ना. At the cost of government, you get a diplomatic passport. Have you traveled through plane? विमान गेलं? मग माहिती का विमानाने प्रवास करायचा 2 तास आधी जावं लागतं. एवढं सगळं चेकिंग असतं. बॅकअप असतात, तुम्हाला तपासतात. That is of course essential. Okay, तुम्हाला ते रॉंग क्यू मध्ये थांबावं लागतं. But when you are IFS, you get a diplomatic passport. You don't have to stay in a queue because you are what? You are a diplomat. म्हणजे प्रत्येक सर्व्हिस त्यांच्यासोबत काही ना काही प्रिव्हिलेज घेऊन येतेच. एव्हरी सर्व्हिस इज कॅरिंग सर्टन प्रिव्हिलेजेस विथ. यांना आहे ते यांना नाही, ते यांना आहे ते यांना नाही. Every service has got its own charm. In addition to serving the people, it is also offering you certain privileges. ते तुम्हाला काय ऑफर करते? Certain privileges पण ऑफर करते. लक्षात घ्या. आणि हेच कारण आहे की ह्या सर्व्हिसेस खूप पॉप्युलर आहेत. दिस इज द रिझन दी सर्व्हिसेस आर सो पॉप्युलर. लक्षात घ्या. ह्या सर्व्हिसेस काय आहेत? नाउ वी शॅल ट्राय टू अंडरस्टँड हाऊ द सिव्हिल सर्व्हिस एक्झामिनेशन इज कंडक्ट. आता ती कशी कंडक्ट केली जाते आपण. नाउ अगेन वी आर फोकसिंग ऑन CS in civil service examination. Now, when it comes to civil service examination, on an average, 1,000 people are recruited every year. किती लोक रिक्रूट होतात? 1,000 लोक रिक्रूट होतात every year. How much? Half. Right. And we should know this examination is conducted in 3 stages. किती स्टेज मध्ये कंडक्ट होते? 3 स्टेज मध्ये कंडक्ट होते. The very first stage is called as preliminary examination. The next stage is called as main examination, and third stage is called as personality test. After passing all these 3 stages, how many aspirants will be selected as an officer? 1,000 aspirants on an average. So when they are going to select 1,000 people, they interview approximately 2,500. किती लोकांचा इंटरव्ह्यू घेतात? 2,500. 2,500 लोकांचा इंटरव्ह्यू घेतात. These numbers are approximate. हे numbers कशा आहेत? Approximate. 205. Out of these 2500, how many will be selected? 1000 will be selected. So to select 2500 candidates for the personality test, they are conducting main examination of say 12 to 15, 12 to 14,000 people. 12 ते 14,000 लोकांची main examination ते घेतली. So out of this number, they are going to get 2500. Out of 2500, eventually how many will be selected? 1000 will be selected. Now how many people they can allow to write prelims? No, it is not in their hand. Because any number of people apply for the prelims. And these days, the number of people applying prelims is more than 10 lakh. More than 10 lakh. So for our understanding, let's take it as a 10 lakh. तो किती घेऊया? आपण एक साधारणतः 10 lakh घेऊ. Let's take it as a million people are applying this examination. Out of million, 12 to 14,000 will be selected to write main examination. Out of this, 2500 will be selected for the personality testing. Finally, 1000 people will be selected. Okay? Now this number is scary. 10 lakh लोक. भीती वाटते ना आपल्याला? 10 lakh लोकांमध्ये आपण सिलेक्ट व्हायचं. But just this is a number, right? Fucking number. Though there are more than 10 lakh people applying for this examination, not everyone is serious. Pratyeka serious as person. I'm teaching this course since last 15 years. You know what is my observation across India? Not more than 50,000 people are so serious about the examination. 50,000 लोक सिरियस असतात. बाकी याच्यामध्ये बरेचसे अमॅच्युअर्स पण असतात. ठीक आहे, याचा अर्थ there is a competition among only 50,000. 50,000 लोकांकडे competition आहे. Now this number is quite reasonable. आता reasonable mark. 10 lakh is not reasonable. 50,000 आवाक्यात ठेवा. Out of 50,000 we have to gain 12 to 14,000. ठीक आहे. Out of this 12 to 14,000, 2,500. Out of 2,500, आता हे होऊ शकतं का? Is that possible? Yes, this is possible. And every year in Maharashtra, you know how many people are getting out of this? Close to 100. Close to. Except this year, numbers are less. But last 10 years, on an average, we are getting 100 students passing the examination from state of Maharashtra. It means out of 1,000, 100. मतलब percentage में कितने होगा? 10%. So 10% service surveyed are given by Maharashtra to the country. Except this year, your number थोड़ी सी कमी है. Or otherwise, on an average, we are getting how many into services? In that context, it is not that much difficult to get into those 1,000. This is the preliminary examination. This is also called a screening test. ये कुठली test आहे? Screening test आहे. Because we have to select few people out of this to write main examination. ठीक है? This examination is multiple choice question one examination. Just like those scholarship examinations. There are two papers, paper 1, paper 2. Paper 1, paper 2. Paper 1 and paper 2 actually are. Okay? Here paper 1 and 2 are. Out of this paper 1 and 2, let me tell you. Prelims. Paper 1, paper 2. This paper 2 is a qualifying paper. Ha, paper 2 कुठला आहे? Qualifying paper. You have to get 66.66 marks in paper 2. And this is the paper 1 whose marks are counted for merit. This is called a GS1. This is GS2. Okay. How many marks you should get in GS1 out of 200? It depends on each year's paper, each year's vacancies. But on an average, I should tell you, you should score around 100. You should score around 100 to pass this examination. You have to qualify this paper. If you qualify this paper, this paper will be evaluated. And you should score around 100 to write main examination. So there are two papers in the examination. This is a screening test. Only 12 to 14,000 people will be called for the main examination. This is a simple examination which consists of one question and 4 options. Okay. If you ask me, I believe this is the most difficult part of the examination. In what sense? Because there are people who are very good in GS1, but they are not able to qualify paper second. There are people who qualify paper second, but their score is not very decent in paper 1. You have to qualify second paper as well as paper 1. The syllabus is given there. The syllabus को मान लीजिए. Now let me give one example. Have you heard of revolt of 1857? माहिती revolt of 1857? 1857 उठाव. कुठे झाला होता रे? Can you tell me where did revolt start? Tentatively. बरं कुठल्या एरियामध्ये झाला होता महाराष्ट्र? साउथ, नॉर्थ, वेस्ट, ईस्ट? नॉर्थ इंडिया. Which place? Let me tell you. Pune, Jhansi, are you able to recollect? What you studied in schools? आठवतं का? ते झालं. Do you know Mr. महात्मा गांधी? माहिती आहे? महात्मा गांधींनी काय केलं? काय त्यांच्याबद्दल तुम्ही सांगू शकता? What can you tell me about it? सत्याग्रह. Very good. Then अहिंसा, non-violence. असहकार चळवळ, non-cooperation movement, civil disobedience movements, Dandi March. Very good. Now, Gandhi returned from South Africa and he started working in the political social life of India. And he started his career with the Satyagraha. At what places he started Satyagraha? Champaran, Ahmedabad, Kheda. And what these places? जहाँ पे उन्होंने सत्याग्रह शुरू किया पहली बार. Now, if this question is to be answered in an examination, what could be the question? Mahatma Gandhi, after coming from South Africa to India, start the Satyagraha at following places. आणि खाली दिलेल्या places वरती सत्याग्रह सुरू केला. Arrange these places as per its chronological order. ह्या places कशा arrange करा? Chronological order नुसार arrange करा. Now they told you सत्याग्रह कुठं सुरू झाला? पण तुम्हाला विचारले काय त्यांनी? त्याचा क्रम लावा. सुरुवातीला बरोबर सांगितलं, पण त्याचा काय लावा? क्रम लावा. Do you remember before some time I was talking about reading skills? तो माहिती नव्हता काय चंपारण खेळा? You knew that. तुम्हाला तो ऑलरेडी माहिती होतं. What is meant by reading skill is this. काय करायचं मला? Sequence. काय करायचं? Sequence. Now let me give one more example. Something is happening between Iran and America. What shall I know? Which state is in news? आता काय? State of Hormuz. Hormuzची समुद्र आणि त्याच्यामध्ये ना काय रे त्याचा कॉमन इम्पॅक्ट काय होता मला सांगा? What is the consequence of that war? Trade होत नाही का काय होतं? What is happening with the trade? आपली ट्रेड होत नाही. कुठला ट्रेड होत नाही? Which trade we are specifically talking about? Crude oil. कुठला? Crude oil. Crude oil च्या कॉन्टेक्स्ट मध्ये शब्द वापरला जातो ना बॅरल. माहिती मला बॅरल. Crude oil चं बॅरल. The question was asked for UPSC 15 years ago. One barrel of crude oil consists of how many liters of oil? One barrel of crude oil consists of how many liters of oil? मला सांगा. Haven't you read this word crude oil, its barrel? More than any times you must have heard this word before. खूप वेळा तुम्ही हा शब्द ऐकला पण असेल ना? ऐकलं की नाही? ऐकलं ना? हा प्रश्न आपल्याला कधी पडला? एक बॅरल ऑइल म्हणून किती असते? Here comes the role of reading skill. इथे कुठला रोल येतो? Reading skill. लक्षात येतं? अशा प्रकारचे प्रश्न कुठे असतात? Then comes main examination. कुठली एक्झामिनेशन येते? मेन एक्झामिनेशन येते, विच कन्सिस्ट ऑफ 2 papers of languages, 2 papers of language, 1 paper of essay, 4 papers of GS, 1 optional subject, उसके 2 पेपर है. There are 2 papers of 1 optional subject, paper 1 and paper 2. Okay, so total 9 papers are there. This is like your board examination. The board examination सारखी examination आहे that you are supposed to write. They were given you syllabus, त्यांनी syllabus दिलेला आहे आणि तिथे म्हणतात तुम्हाला लिहा. Okay, now I'll give an example. We referred Mahatma Gandhi prelims. Question could be asked on Mahatma Gandhi main examination. Mahatma Gandhi mains मध्ये पण प्रश्न विचारला जाऊ शकतो. What could be the question? If I ask you, tell me 5 to 10 important contributions of Mahatma Gandhi to India's national movement, you will able to write that. Satyagraha, non-violence, civil disobedience movement, non-cooperation movement, Dandi March, right? Round table conferences, Gandhi Ambedkar, Pune Pact. है की नाही? एक 8-10 वापरच म्हणता येईल, 8-10 गोष्टी आपण सांगू. Question could be asked in an examination like this. What could have been achievements of India's national movement in absence of Mahatma Gandhi? जर महात्मा गांधी नसते तर इंडियन नॅशनल मुवमेंट मध्ये काय झालं असतं? आपल्याला तर सगळं माहिती असते तर काय झालं, हा विचार कोणी केला? नसते तर काय झालं असतं? लक्षात येतं? नसते तर काय झालं असतं? They are asking you to think like this. आता माझा विचार करा सांग. आता ह्याचा फायदा कुठं होतो? It helps you during work. तो काम करताना. Now we are referring to the state of Hormuz. तो म्हटलं ना क्रूड ऑइलवरती परिणाम वगैरे झाला आपल्या. तो फक्त क्रूड ऑइलचा परिणाम नाही. You know what is at stake here? India's energy security at stake. And India's energy security is at stake. So question will be asked in examination. What steps have been taken by India to secure India's energy security in the changing geopolitical circumstances? आता जी परिस्थिती बदलत आहे त्या परिस्थितीमध्ये भारताने काय उपाय घेतलेले आहेत? Just try to understand what is meant by energy security. Okay, there must be LPG gas in your home. And LPG gas आहे. How many cylinders are there in your home? At least one cylinder is attached to gas. There is one backup. Backup असतो ना? असतो की नाही backup? You may be having a underground water tank if you are home. You also have overhead water tank. वरती पण असतो नाही? सोसायटीला पण असतो. आहे का? You may have a car. कार असू शकते. कार समजा पेट्रोल आहे, डिझेल आहे, सीएनजी भरलेला असतो का त्याच्यामध्ये? असतो? किती भरलेला असतो? फुल असतो? If not full, reasonable तर असतोच ना? And as soon as you take out your car, suppose you are traveling, the very first thing you do is your petrol or diesel fuel. You go and fill up the tank. It means you are ensuring your security. तुम्ही काय इन्शुअर करता? सिक्युरिटी इन्शुअर करता. एक सिलेंडर लावला, एक सिलेंडर बॅकअप मध्ये आहे. खाली पण पाण्याचं टँक आहे, वरती पण पाण्याचं टँक. व्हॉट इज दॅट? दॅट इज नथिंग बट सिक्युरिटी. ही काय आहे? सिक्युरिटी आहे. भारताला असा विचार करावा लागतो ना. There is a thing called as strategic reserve. Strategic reserve नावाची गोष्ट असते. If not a single drop of crude oil comes to India, we can survive for 75 days. Because we collect and store petrol, diesel or the kind of fuel required for us for 75 days. So we have backup of how many days? 75 days. But if I tell you, the country like Japan, they have a backup of almost 8 to 9 months. 75 दिवस म्हणजे 2.5 महिने झाले ना. 25 days means 2.5 months. But a country like Japan, they have 8 to 10 months of backup. It means even a single drop of oil doesn't come to Japan, still they can survive. ते काय करू शकतात? सर्वाइव्ह करू शकतात. लक्षात आलं? याला म्हटलं जातं एनर्जी सिक्युरिटी. This is the extreme. So आता आपण इराणबद्दल बोलतोय. But you'll get a question on Indian European means examination. You have to write that. You have to have a line. In prelims, your reading skill is going to be tested. Here, your writing skill will be tested. You are supposed to write an essay. Essay answer. तुम्ही तुमच्या आयुष्यात essay लिहिलाय की नाही? You have already written essay in 10th and 12th standard. But here you have to go beyond that. Because in 10th and 12th, you might have written it for 300 words. Max 400 words. But here you have to write one essay for 1000 words. 600 words are to be added. Can you do that? Yes, you can do that. Because you are getting at least 3 years now. Each year you are going to add 200 words. Already you are able to add 400 words. त्याच्यामध्ये रीट आहे ना 3 वर्षांना टार्गेट ठेवायचं प्रत्येक वर्षी 200 शब्दांची कॅपॅसिटी वाढवायची. It will come to 600. Already you are 400. 600 plus 400, 1000 words. Your writing skill will be coming into the picture here in main examination. So this will be screening test. This will be the written test. And when you pass the main examination, there will be personality test. त्याच्यामध्ये काय असणार आहे? Personality test. You will be interviewed. तुम्हाला काय करायचं इंटरव्ह्यू केला तर you will be interviewed. तसं तुमचा इंटरव्ह्यू घेतला. It usually lasts for 20 to 25 minutes. It is a new Delhi. Delhi मध्ये तुमचा इंटरव्ह्यू घेतला जातो. You are asked a question about your background to understand whether you know yourself. Whether you know yourself. For example, you are coming from farmer's family. आणि मी त्यांना सांगितलं की माझे वडील शेती करतात. They will ask you what type of crop. तू म्हटला ऊस लावलाय. We have planted sugar. They will ask you what type of variety. What type of irrigation. They are just checking whether you are telling the truth or not. विचारतात तू म्हटला मला म्युझिक ऐकायला आवडतं. You say you like listening music as a hobby. Which music? Indian or Western? If you say Indian, they will ask you classical or non-classical. If you say classical, they will ask you the Carnatic or Hindustani. Or you say, I like eating. I like eating. Again, they will ask you which cuisine? Indian, continental, Italian. तुम्हाला Italian. They will ask you why Italian. म्हणजे तुम्ही एखादी गोष्ट त्याच्यामध्ये त्यांना सांगत असाल त्या जस्ट चेकिंग यू वेदर यू नो दॅट थिंग ऑर नॉट. युअर पर्सनॅलिटी विल बी टेस्टेड हिअर. काय टेस्ट केली जाईल तुमची पर्सनॅलिटी. त्यांनी आस्क यू सिच्युएशन. ते तुम्हाला सिच्युएशन देतील आणि मग ती घ्यायचं डिसिजन घ्या रिॲक्ट करा. Okay, what would be the situation? Right, but they will give any situation. Somebody is giving you money, will you accept it or not? Okay, will you step out of your car, the government vehicle to help somebody? तुम्ही तुमच्या कारच्या बाहेर लोकांना मदत कराल असे पण प्रश्न मला विचारतील. They are checking your personality. They are just trying to understand. Are you a person suitable to do this job? So that is done in personality test. Right. So to pass this examination, you have to appear prelims. उसके बाद you have to crack the main examination. You have to go to personality test, and there will be total of main and personality test. Main and personality test. Actually, total is, and that will be counted for final merit. Final merit set count केली जाईल. That will be counted for final merit. लक्षात अशी आपली परीक्षा असणार आहे. So at each stage, your particular skill test will be tested. Here reading वाला skill होगा, यहाँ पे writing वाला skill होगा, यहाँ पे personality वाला skill. Are you talking lie? Or are you lying? Are you truthful? Are you kind enough? All these skills are tested here by asking some simple questions. तुम्हाला simple question विचारले जाऊ शकते. Okay, now every day we conduct so many mock interviews in our office. And even those interviews, after finishing this class, I will go and start interviewing some people for one job. Which are that? So have you heard of AI? Artificial intelligence. So last week, I asked a question to one student who was applying for this personality test. As soon as she entered into interview room, she sat and I asked her, do you know what is meant by artificial intelligence? What are its applications? So a few questions I asked her on artificial intelligence. 2 days ago, her actual interview happened. the actual interview झाला. And she was asked few questions on AI. तुला काही क्वेश्चन याच्यावरती विचारले गेले, यावरती विचारले गेले. We could predicted these questions earlier. So she was well prepared. She answered in very good manner. लक्षात येईल. ओके. आणि इथे तुमच्या आजूबाजू एवढ्या गोष्टी विचारलेल्या, we are checked in all different dimensions. I see you are living in a Pune, for example. There's one road called as Ganesh Hinda Road. माहिती मला गणेश खिंड रोड. हा तिकडे रोड आहे ना, इथून युनिव्हर्सिटीकडे जाणार रस्ता आहे, त्याला गणेश खिंड रोड असं म्हणतात. Some people earlier they were asked a question on Ganesh Khinda Road. The panel saw they are coming from Pune. They asked, do you know there is a road called as Ganesh Khinda Road in Pune? And they said, yes, I know. Next question came, why the road is named as a Ganesh Khinda Road? The Ganesh Khinda Road का तरह होती है सब. There are people who are studying in Ferguson College, for example. उनको भी सवाल पूछा जाता है. Why the name of your college is the Ferguson College? Who was the Ferguson? And why his name is given to your college? तुमच्या लक्षात येते का बघा. आता तुम्हाला काय करायचं आहे, तुम्ही हॅव टू बी क्युरियस. तुम्हाला हे क्युरियस व्हावं लागेल ना. तुम्हाला काय करावं लागेल, क्युरियस व्हावं लागेल. का क्युरियस व्हावं लागेल? वाय यू हॅव टू बिकम क्युरियस? बिकॉज दीज आर थिंग्स हॅपनिंग अराउंड अस. Okay, let me tell you one more example. There is a company called as Apple. Apple large company which produces iPhone, iPad, iWatch. Produce करते हैं. That company belongs to American company. But it is also producing in India. They may ask you why the Apple products are so popular and costly. तुम्ही विचारू शकता ते पॉप्युलर आणि कॉस्टली काय? सिंपल क्वेश्चन may be asked. तुम्ही ऍपलचे प्रोडक्ट वापरा अगर न वापरा, when you know this thing, you have to be curious. तुम्हाला क्युरियस व्हावं लागेल. सपोज आज तुम्हाला इंटरव्ह्यू होणार असेल ना, आज तर तुम्हाला प्रश्न विचारू शकतात, व्हॉट इज हॅपनिंग इन IPL, फॉर एक्झाम्पल. Who will win the matches in IPL? Okay, now if you see the very popular team of IPL, that is Mumbai Indians, it has lost 3 continuous games. They only won the very first game, and they have lost next 3 games. Today is the match of the Mumbai Indians. आपको पूछा जाए, if your hobby is a cricket, and as I see it, as I told you, every day we interview so many candidates. Every aspirant alternatively says cricket is my hobby. Cricket माझी हॉबी आहे, खेळायला आवडतं, बघायला पण आवडतं. त्याला प्रश्न विचारले जाऊ शकतात. दॅट इज जस्ट टू चेक देअर पास. तर इतक्या गोष्टी त्याच्यामध्ये तपासल्या जातात. सो समवन who is equipped with reading skills, someone who is equipped with writing skills and personality traits. When finally candidate gets selected, the government gets a package of a skillful individual. Government package मिळतं, skillful individual मिळतं. Because to run a government, to work in a bureaucracy is not an easy task. The person or officer must be very skillful. तो कसा असायला पाहिजे? Skillful असायला पाहिजे. Then only the officer will be solving the problems of people of India. लोकांना जे प्रॉब्लेम्स आहेत ते सोडवण्याचं काम तो करू शकतो, तो ऑफिसर करू शकतो. लक्षात घ्या. आणि म्हणून तो कसा असायला पाहिजे? ऑफिसर हॅव टू बी व्हेरी स्किलफुल. आणि हे स्किल त्याच्या कशामध्ये टेस्ट केले जातात? स्किल्स आर टेस्टेड हिअर. तर आता तुम्हाला लगेच कळणार नाही, यू मे नॉट अंडरस्टँड दॅट इन व्हेरी बिगिनिंग, बट वन्स यू acquaint yourself with the entire process of an examination, you will start automatically how the reading and writing skills are to be improved. हळूहळू त्याच्यामध्ये होणार आहे. Okay, now after understanding these 3 stages of examination, let's try to understand who can pass this examination. The simple answer lies, the person who has skills will pass the examination. उसके पास क्या होना जरूरी है? स्किल होना जरूरी है एग्जामिनेशन पास करे. कौन सा वाला स्किल? रीडिंग वाला, राइटिंग वाला एंड पर्सनैलिटी टेस्ट. बट टू एक्वायर दिस स्किल्स, अगेन यू हैव टू बी अ स्टूडियस गाय. स्टडी तो करना पड़ेगा, उसके सिवा नहीं हो सकता. So you have to put lot of efforts. तो आपको क्या करना होगा? You have to study. आपको क्या करनी है? Study करनी है. For how many hours? How many days? The answer will be different. तो उत्तर बच्चे कैसे कैसा है? वेगळा है. But you have to be studious का. पहले तो आपके पास क्या होना जरूरी है? Skills. Second, study. Right? अजून क्या पाहिजे? त्याच्यामध्ये what you should, some other qualities we call it as a OLQ, officer like qualities. Now what are officer like quality? The officer has to be patient, kind, compassionate, right, a good listener, not only talk but also listen, good listener. Okay, all these qualities are called as officer like quality. For example, honesty. For example, honesty. For example, responsibility. For example, what? Responsibility. So these are officer like qualities. Do we have this? Yes, we already have this in different degrees, in different range. आपल्याकडे आहे. आपण honest असतो. काही लोक कमी honest असतात, काही लोक जास्त honest असतात. There is a difference in degree. Aren't we kind? घरच्या लोकांपर्यंत असतोच की नाही? We have to be kind to others as well. याचा अर्थ आपल्याकडे नाही असं नाही. Okay. Are you a good listener? You are listening me. तुम्ही मला ऐकताय. Listening is not about listening here. It is about understanding what I am telling you. नुसतं ऐकायचं नाही तर काय करायचंय? समजून घ्यायचं. You have to be a good listener. Patient. Listen first. Then react. पहिले ऐकून घ्या. मग react करा. And what now? You have to be responsible. You have to be responsible. All such officer-like qualities must be there. So the very first thing is skill. पहिली गोष्ट कुठली आहे? स्किल्स वाली आहे. दुसरं जर अभ्यास करावा लागेल तर तुम्हाला काय करावं लागेल? OLQ वाली गोष्ट त्याच्यामध्ये करावी लागेल. लक्षात ठेवा. आणि हे सगळं आपल्याला करायचं असेल तर वी हॅव टू टेक इट इन राईट डिरेक्शन अँड ऍट राईट टाइम. हे सगळं करायचं असेल आपल्याला कसं करावं लागेल? राईट डिरेक्शनला करावं लागेल, राईट टाइमला करावं लागेल. नाउ युअर टाइम हॅज कम. आपला टाइम आएगा, मतलब आपका टाइम आ गया. This is the stage, this is the place where you can begin. यही तुम्ही सुरुवात करू शकता. This is exactly what we are going to do in foundation course. हीच गोष्ट आपण कशामध्ये करणार आहोत? फाउंडेशन कोर्स मध्ये करणार. We of course we are going to teach. आम्ही तुम्हाला शिकवणार आहोत. But I know teaching has very limited application right now. Though teaching is important part, our focus is on these things because we are going to plant a tree. The tree will go eventually. ती वाढायला पाहिजे eventually, and we have to take that care. We have to water the trees. We have to take care of removal of weeds. हे सगळ्या गोष्टी आपल्याला कराव्या लागतील. How we are going to do that? How we are going to do that? We are going to do that with continuous preparation and continuous efforts. आपण गोष्टी कशा करणार आहोत? कंटिन्युअस प्रिपरेशन आणि कंटिन्युअस एफर्ट्स करणार. लक्षात घ्या. सो आय बिलीव्ह दिस इज द राईट टाइम अँड राईट डिरेक्शन where you should start, integrating all these things in you. Lakshya. So here's the part. And now let me quickly revise. See, we started our discussion by understanding what is meant by civil services. Briefly, we dwelt on what is welfare state, government, and immediate of India. So civil services are going to act as a bridge. Okay. Then we spoke also about civil services for union and state, UPSC and SPSC. Okay, we'll take up this discussion sometime later. नंतर आपण ते घेणार आहोत. Then multiple examinations of UPSC, but our focus was on CSC. आपला फोकस कशावरती होता? CSC वरती. And when it comes to CSC, the services are classified into three types: All India services, Group A services, and Group B services. Right? Then how the examination is conducted: pre, mains, and personality test. We have to be into these 1,000, and not only these 1,000, the first 50, first 100. अगर उतना करोगे तभी IAS हो पाओ. ठीक है. Then pre-mains are, we briefly discussed this entire scheme of examination and why only certain handful of candidates are getting selected. काही लोग का select because they have skills, they study, and they also possess certain officer-like qualities. No one is born with all these qualities. कोणाकडे born नसतं. We have to inculcate and we have to nourish it. आपल्याला इंटरप्रेट करायचं आणि आपल्याला नॉलेज पण करायचा. We are going to do this through right direction and at the right time. And as I told you, when your time has started. Okay, so आपण one by one त्याच्यामध्ये करणार. In this course, of course, we will teach you. आम्ही मग काही गोष्टी शिकवणार आहोत. We focus on this also. We are expecting your participation. There will be some activities. Activities पण त्याच्यामध्ये असतील. You will be asked to participate in that activity so as to build your base. लक्षात आणि we are going to do it mutually. आपण सगळे दोघे मिळून ते सगळं करणार. You got this? So this is how we are going to start with this. अशा पद्धतीने आपण याला सुरुवात करतो. Okay, I'll take up your questions. Okay. Before that, for the YouTube viewers, we are going to conclude the session and we have now a discussion. Okay.